Welcome to the Everything Made Beautiful podcast with Shannon Scott, where we talk about life's seasons, joyful, challenging, and everything in between, and how God is working in all of them. Join us each week for conversations filled with hope, truth, and the encouragement that He is always making everything beautiful. This podcast is sponsored by Kava, helping you take your next step in faith through digital resources that deepen discipleship. Check them out at Kava, QAVA.tv. And now, on with the show.
Okay, welcome to another episode of the Everything Made Beautiful podcast. And today I have got my two girls, Maggie and Allie, with me. Hello, girls.
Hello. How we doing, ladies?
This is going to be interesting because we don't really have a plan on this, except I said, hey, let's talk about all of the change that has come into our lives recently. And so we're gonna talk that through. We're gonna just have an organic family conversation about all the different things that we're currently encountering and the things that are going to be coming down the pike for us, for the Scotts. How's that sound?
That sounds amazing. Perfect. Love it. Everybody pretend we're in the living room together, like this is a casual Tuesday night, whatever. This is how a conversation with us would normally go.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I feel great about that. And so I am wondering, when I said to you girls, hey, I think we should have a conversation about all of the changes that we're experiencing in our lives, what did you think about that?
Well, my immediate thought,
I was like, Allie has a thought. Go girl.
My immediate thought is, like, all the moving that's happening. We're moving houses. I'm moving to England. I was like, we've got plenty of change to talk about. All the different kinds of transitions that we're going through and, like, everything about that, which is, like, kind of, I don't know, it's, like, scary, but it's also, like, good to talk about, Mm-hmm. That's where my brain went.
Why do you think it's scary? Like, what about it is scary for you?
Well, hold on. We probably have to give some backstory on what's happening with Allie.
All right.
So first, Maggie, what did you think when I said, hey, let's talk about all the changes that we're experiencing?
Honestly, pretty similar to Allie. I personally am not experiencing a ton of changes. I have gone through enough change in my life for years to come, personally. So I'm not experiencing a ton, but I was thinking specifically about leaving that house in Franklin and what that looks like the next time I come home and I'm not going to that house anymore, Yeah. So that was part of what I was thinking about. I wasn't sure how in-depth we've gone about the move yet. Yeah. So I was excited to talk about that.
We haven't. New stuff. People just found out that was the on the docket when you said that, which I love. That's okay, the thing about organic.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what had already been discussed or if anything had been discussed, so I'm excited to dive into that and what that looks like. We're no strangers to moving physically at all. So it's not really that part, but it is the sentimental part, the closing a chapter part, and all of that jazz. But Allie's got a lot going on too.
She does. So since we dove right into the deep end, we will put a pin in the bomb that Maggie just dropped about moving. But I will start. I will give a little prerequisite, but first I have to welcome my surprise guest to this podcast. What? And I did that so that you guys would not be able to plan that whole thing, but I wanted you to have a full representation, audience, of the changes in our lives. So please welcome my sweet Jack Scott to the podcast as well.
Yay! Yay!
Hello, hello.
Jackie. Do we get you on video?
I'm currently working on getting that situated
Okay,
right
no
now.
worries.
Awesome.
No
No
worries.
problem.
For the sake of the audience, for those of you who don't know, Maggie, Jack, and Allie have now all graduated from high school. So Maggie was first, Jack followed her, and Allie just graduated this May. And several years ago, Maggie moved to Orlando, and she lives in Orlando and works at Disney World. And that is fabulous and wonderful, and we love going to
Magical,
visit her.
you might say.
It's magical. She's in her own apartment with her dog, Oakley, and she's loving life as a single gal in Orlando. And then Jack just recently, even though he graduated 2 years ago, he just recently moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee, where he is living with friends, and he is doing all kinds of digital work and work in the production space. And then sweet Allie Bally just graduated from high school and did a school trip at the end of the year, and one of the places that they went was over to England to do some mission work with a church there called Soul Church. And in doing that, she discovered that there was an internship at that church that would be something that she could. There's Jack on video. Hey, bud. She discovered an internship on that school trip, and when she did that, she said, "Ooh, I think I feel the Lord calling me to this." And we said, "Well, pray about it, get all the information, see what's up with it." She prayed about it, felt like she was supposed to apply. She applied for the internship, and they interviewed her and said, "You'll hear something in 10 days." And she heard in 2 hours that she had been accepted to the internship. So she is now moving to Norwich, England. So in a few weeks, and I don't remember exactly when this podcast will air, but in just a few weeks, I will be flying to London with her to drop her off at that internship. So we decided to jump on a podcast before everybody leaves. You'll hear my dogs in the background. Jeff,
I was
of
like,
course, is playing a concert tonight, so he is not here to help wrangle the dogs, and it is just going to be chaos, and I don't know what to do about it other than let it be
I was
chaos.
like, this is quite literally how a conversation in the living room would go. Maverick has
Constantly.
thoughts.
Yes.
He has to share
Yes.
them. Like, we can't
Yes.
fault him for that, unfortunately.
Those of you on video may see all three of my dogs at some point
Just
because
peep
they will
in.
not let me sit here very long. But all that to say, we take Allie to England. That means Jeff and I officially become empty nesters entirely. And that kind of happened overnight for me. I'm going to be honest. I kind of thought I'd have Jack and Allie with me for a little bit longer as they did various things, but that has not turned out to be the case, and we trust the Lord with that. But Allie, why don't you talk a little bit about the internship and then talk about the decision that our family made that Maggie just dropped the bomb about selling our house.
Surprise!
And I will see if I can quiet our pup while you are doing that.
Awesome. Okay. So with this internship, you move to this city in England called Norwich, as Mom said, and live with a host family who I met a couple weeks ago. They are the sweetest. They have a little golden retriever. I'm so excited. And while you're there, you'll be enrolled in a Bible college, and you'll be taking Bible classes the whole time you're there,
Nice.
the whole 9 months. And I'm hoping to serve on their worship team, but I haven't gotten that assignment yet. So maybe by the time this podcast is out, I'll know. But the application process was kind of like, I had emailed them as soon as I got home from the trip, and I was like, guys, I really feel like God is calling me to this. Like, I don't know why. Like, I was literally standing in their chapel service or whatever, and I was like, this is so weird. Like, why do I feel like I need to move here? And I was like, this is such an unrealistic expectation. And then I got home and I was like, hey, how do I apply? And they got back to me the day the applications came out, and they were like, you can actually apply right now, blah, 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 blah. So I applied, got an interview within like 30 minutes. And when I was doing the interview, they were literally like, we already feel pretty confident, but like, this is just to help us get to know you a little better and just kind of like see what you're about. And I was like, absolutely. And after that, yeah, I literally took that the morning before I went to school. I was like late to school because of it. I know. Well, because they're 6 hours ahead. So I was like, it's either that or like 2 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Late to
right.
school it is.
So I was like, not gonna do that. So anyways, yeah, I was late to school because of it. And so then we did like morning chapel and all that stuff. And then my study hall right after chapel, I was like on my computer, like opened up my email just because I had like a million emails. And I was like going through and like deleting all of them. And then I was like, that's weird. I already have an email from them and it says, congratulations, you're in. Like, that's so odd. They told me they'd get back to me in 10 days. I'm really confused. And so I opened it up and my best friend Harper was sitting right next to me and I said, I think I just got in. And she was like, wait, let me read the email. I was like, okay. She read it and she was like, yeah, you definitely got in. And so we literally like started jumping up and down, like running around the school. And like I went and told my other best friend Audrey, and then I went and told the whole office. And I was like, guys, I got in. And one of the ladies in there was like, did you call your mom yet? And I was like, well, no, I don't have my phone. How would I tell her? And they were like, you can use mine. I was like, perfect. So I called mom and I was like, Mom, guess what? I got in. And she was like, oh my gosh. And with that brought up a lot of emotions, obviously, because when you find out one afternoon that your child's moving across the country, nope, across the globe, sorry.
Sorry, actually across the world. She said
Two
quite
different
further than the
things.
country. Sorry.
Sorry. When you find that out, it's a bit of a shocker. So yeah, a lot of emotions came with that. And once I got home that day, I was like, yay! And then mom was like, okay, but like, let's talk about this because what does this mean? I was
She
like,
said,
that's a wonderful
wait.
question. It's like, I actually have no idea. So maybe we should figure that out.
Right.
Hey,
Anyways.
talk about what you were as we all acclimated to the idea and we understood what it was going to be about. Talk about what you were nervous about in terms of what it would be like to live there and the things that you would miss and the way that God provided those things.
Okay. So, as I was like, it started out with just pure excitement. I was like, there's nothing that can go wrong. And then of course, my mind was like, girl, be so for real. There's so many things that can go wrong. And I was like, oh, awesome. So the first thing that I was really nervous about was where I was going to live because I was like, I literally know no one over there. Like, and like, I'm not going to pay for my own apartment with what money, right? Like, I'm actually not allowed to work while I'm there. So how am I going to pay for that? And so my mind was like racing and I was like, okay. And then I got on a call with them and they were like, would you rather have a host family who just kind of like lets you have your own space and like kind of gives you, you know, your private time and whatever? Or would you rather have a family that kind of like wants you to be a part of their family and kind of wants you to like integrate into theirs and like have family dinners and all that stuff? And I said, family dinners, 1000%. I was like,
Immediately family dinner. No private time.
Like,
immediately.
I spend like 5 minutes in my room besides like at night. I was like, we are not doing that. So then when they told me who my host family was, then I was like, oh no, like what if I don't like them? What if we don't get along? What if they don't like me? Like I was like, awesome. Then I met them over Zoom and we literally got on and I was like in the car, we were looking at houses. I was in the car and I was like, hello. And they got on the screen and I was like, I love you. You guys are the best. You're literally perfect. So anyways, so yeah, that was like the first thing I was worried about. And I was, you know, going back and forth with just like what is it going to look like? And then everything else was just kind of like friendships and like I was really scared that all of my friends that I have here were gonna just like not talk to me. So that's super fun. That
Right,
would
right.
appear
That
that
that is how friendship works. Yes,
no,
correct.
literally, right. Like I would do that, obviously.
Right, of course.
So, anyways, but after having some chats with my friends, we've landed on that is not gonna happen. And I was like one of my friends, she was like, "Well, I'm 1000% coming to visit you." I was like, "Oh, perfect." I didn't realize we were like friends, right? Anyways, um, but everything else, I honestly like. I felt really good about it. Like it was, I honestly was like scared that I wasn't thinking of something, if that makes sense. Like I was like, why do I feel so good about this? I was like, I feel like there are more things that I should be worried about. But yeah, literally those two things were the first things that were like playing in my mind of just like worry. But everything else has been kind of just like they're very good at like keeping us in communication and like all of that stuff. So I feel like it was kind of like calming to know that they're on our side too. And they're also like, we understand that you're literally moving to a different country. Like, obviously, it's going to be scary. um, but yeah, they've just been so kind and welcoming and just making us feel like comfortable with the move and everything. So there you go.
So our youngest is headed to England, and we now have our brains wrapped around that, which is good. But about the time that Allie realized that she was going to move to England, Jack announced that he was moving to Chattanooga. So, Jack, it's your turn now. How and why did that come about, and why did you want to do it? What opportunities were there? How did you feel like the Lord was leading you?
Well, initially I didn't have any plans to come here until a buddy of mine that I've actually lived with before down here reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I have a room in our house. If you want to come down, you could just stay here for the summer again, or you could stay here for a little longer. It's sort of up to you." It seemed like a good opportunity to sort of get me out of the funk that I was in, a little bit of the dust from just like sitting around for so long and not really doing anything. Um, and as I was sort of getting ready to move down here and, talking to people who were down here, talking to people who were in Franklin and just figuring everything out, it really felt like a lot of doors were being opened towards here, in a lot of different ways. And I'm seeing that more, honestly, now than I did then. I'm having some talks with a friend of mine about a job down in Atlanta that would have been
Mm-hmm.
difficult to accommodate if I was twice the distance from Atlanta that I am now. So just a lot of things have started to sort of fall into place and work out. And it's really felt like this was the move that I was supposed to make.
And you had wanted to, you played guitar all through high school, and then there weren't a lot of opportunities for that. And so this move enables you to do more of that, right?
Yeah, I have a friend down here who is really, really good at guitar, and I have a couple other friends who are good at a couple of different talents, and I want to start getting together with some of them and playing a lot more. But already I have an opportunity to play at a kids camp, that's I think 2 weeks from now, where we'll be not necessarily like camp counselors, but we're going to be part of the band. And then also we like have a small group that we do small group time with, and we like eat lunch with the kids or whatever. So that's going to be a really cool opportunity to play music, and then also hopefully, speak into the lives of the children that'll be at the camp. So that'll be a really cool opportunity. And it'll be the first time I've been playing guitar on stage in a while. So that'll be fun.
I know that when, this kind of we joked as a family because it was like we went from nothing changing to literally everything is changing in every direction with every single one of us, almost overnight in several different contexts. But Jack, since you have most recently transitioned, I'd love for you to say, here have been, 2 or 3 of the best parts. Here have been 2 or 3 of the hardest parts, or parts I didn't quite think all the way through or didn't quite realize. And then Maggie, if you can remember what those were for you, just like what have been the best parts about being on your own, but then what have been some of the things that you're like, oh, that's an interesting new experience to be an adult?
Well, I think that's the really interesting thing about being an adult is going to be the same, and that is money. Everything is so expensive. Oh my gosh. Why is it so expensive? I always say to basically anyone that will listen, I'm like, we are the dumbest creatures on planet Earth. Everybody else, those squirrels, they ain't paying rent. They are making their way, okay? They are not paying rent. We decided we were going to pay rent. What? What? Whose decision was that? Come to the front. I would like to have a word, okay? But aside from that, I actually love pretty much everything else about it. I am definitely the extrovert of the family. I would say second to me is maybe Allie, but only when she wants to be. I want to be and am constantly all the time. And in fact, my therapist, shout out my queen, she was like, you need to start taking nights to yourself. Like you actually shouldn't be with people all the time. And I was like, wait, why not? Wait, why?
Why?
So I'm
What's
working on
wrong?
that.
What's wrong?
I'm working on that. That's a challenge for me. But living with a family full of people who would rather stay home, I was like, okay, that is perfect. I want to hang out with you guys so bad. Outside, please. So I like having the freedom to be able to say, you know what, I am going to go hang out with people tonight, or I'm not going to go hang out with people tonight. And it's solely my decision based on what I want to do. But I also get to like feed essentially that side of me that has always wanted to be able to just go hang out with people. I'm like, oh, I can do that because I'm grown. I'm an adult. Another thing I love about it, my girl Oakley back there, my precious pup. She is probably my favorite part about adulthood so far. Because I've always wanted a dog that was just mine, but I never had one because I never took care of it, and Dad always took care of it for me. So Dad told me I couldn't have my own until I took care of it. Well, I'm taking care of her now. She's right behind me. Chewing away
It's
on a
working
bone.
out for you. See, it's working out for you.
And it is. And it is. But yeah, I think being able to kind of create how I want my days to look, how I want my nights to look, how I want my space to look, how I want to move through the world. Like, I think all of those things are things that I was excited about and have lived up to that excitement. The only thing I don't like about it is how expensive it is and having to go to the DMV. And those are basically the two that I'm like, I'm out. Tap me out of those two.
You're supposed
Fair.
to say that you miss us terribly
I
and that our daily interaction in your life has left you, has just left you bereft.
That is simply untrue because I call Mom like 3 times a day. And she's like, girl, I'm working. I'm like, what do you mean? You're supposed to be there for me every time I call. What are you saying? Allie and I talk constantly. I called Jack the other day and he said, hey, you okay? And I said, yeah, I just wanted to chat.
Just saying hey.
And then he said something that cracked me up. I told all my friends about it and I've been laughing about it for days. He goes, hey, Maggie, I'm going to hang up now. Love you. And I was like, oh, period. I guess the conversation.
Hey, so I'm actually done with this
too.
conversation.
That's That's what we adults call boundaries.
Well, and I was like, you know what? Period. I could hear his friend talking to him in the background, and he was like, "Hey, Maggie, I'm gonna hang up on you now." I said, "All right, perfect."
Literally no worries. Literally no worries. It's
Literally
totally fine.
none. No, completely respect it. Shout out to you. But I talk to you guys constantly. Don't fret.
I know. I'm just playing with you. Okay, Jack, your turn.
All right. My view, I guess, is probably a little more cynical than Maggie's. I got a long list of problems. But money is still the first one, that's for sure. I just got paid. I was telling Maggie, I think when I was on the phone with her, like I got paid on Monday, and then like my entire paycheck saved like $20 or something just with rent, utilities, groceries. By the I in a 12-hour span, I'd spent my whole paycheck already, and now I got to go another 2 weeks with like $10 and some quarters in my
Of
car.
course.
Some
Welcome.
quarters in the
Isn't
car,
it great?
please.
Woo!
I know, adulthood. Let's go. But it has been really good. One of the other challenges that I've sort of noticed is I just have to be really intentional about everything because my time is my own. So, sometimes if I'm not thinking about it or nobody's home, I'm just like not eating for a whole day because I'm not
Yeah.
consciously going, oh, everybody else is eating right now, or this is the time when, you know, everybody else is getting a meal, so I should go get a meal. If nobody's home, I just forget lunchtime like exists, and then it's 5 p.m. and I'm like, I haven't eaten anything
So
all day.
real.
That's just
Yeah.
like one example of it, but like I just have to be more, if I need to do something, I have to set aside the time to do it, and I have to tell myself this is when I'm doing it, because nobody else is going to be like, hey, are you going to do that thing, or did you already get this done? It's all on me.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, making my own schedule. Not having my dog has been really tough. I really hate it.
Yeah.
Um, I wish he was here, but I'm in a house with like four other guys and all of their stuff. And I'm cool if he grabs my stuff, but you know, there's other people's stuff just like strewn across the house and their doors are left open. And so it would be tough to have him here, but I do miss him a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, he's a big fan of socks. Yeah.
Uh,
He
just socks. He's a fan of everything.
I get him
yeah.
a stuffed animal about every time I go to the store. I'm not kidding. I brought home a
Yes.
stuffed broccoli yesterday. He loves it. He's been carrying it around ever
He
since.
may show up with it any minute when he gets
I
up
was
from
like,
his nap.
that's who you heard being very vocal at the beginning. He has a lot of
Yes.
Yes.
words and likes to
Yes.
say them. Okay,
Yes,
I
he
I
does.
relate. I relate. Me and him, we like this. We get each other.
Yes, it's hard to be without the dog.
Um, some of the things that I do like are just I really like having my own space and being able to just really make it my, I don't know if you can see, pretty proud of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I just like having like this room is my own to do with exactly what I please, and I can just make it that way and then keep it that way. And I like being in a space that I've like cultivated, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
because it's like it's sort of all me and it was totally, everything is everywhere because I put it there. I
Yeah.
like being here even more because of that. And then
And
just like,
and when you lived here, you got the big room, but the caveat was it's the big room with its own bathroom, so it's the guest room when it needs to be, and now you don't have to do that, which is nice.
yeah, I know that like this is just my space all the time. And I never have to like prepare it for anybody else or like wash the sheets because somebody else is going to be sleeping there or whatever. It's just like it's mine, which I really
Yeah.
like. It also is not a lot of space. I have, I had the big room in our house, so I have a bunch of stuff, and this room is the smallest room in the house by a good 5 feet on each wall. So it has been
Perfect.
a struggle to sort of fit in here, but but it's been good. And of course, The worst part is that I just miss my parents. I'm totally bereft or whatever you said before.
Right.
Just completely.
Right. Don't miss me though. No worries.
See, you're
The
smart.
whole family. The whole family.
Yeah, he's smart. He was smart to add that in. Good play, Jack. That was smooth. So to Maggie's comment earlier, when all of this change descended upon myself and Jeff, we were like, okay, Lord, what are you doing? And we always trust you. We've trusted you with our kids since the day they were conceived. We are not going to stop trusting you now, but this is definitely a very different season. And for us, the question that Jeff posed to me almost as a joke, I think, is...
I was going to say, I feel like it was not very serious, and then suddenly I was like, oh, we're doing this. Oh, okay, cool.
I have many friends. My boss right now says, listen, the Scots go from 0 to 150 in no time.
True.
But he said, well, do you think we should sell the house? And I was like, sure. So he called a friend of his and actually ran the numbers. And we discovered that if we sold the house, then we could be in a position of financial freedom for the first time in our marriage. And that was exciting to both of us for similar reasons. I've always wanted to be someone who's able to live really generously, and that would give us the opportunity to do so. But also it would give us the opportunity to go see our daughter overseas, our daughter in Orlando, our son in Chattanooga. Like, it gives us the opportunity to travel, which we love. We probably love travel more than the average person. And but more than that, it gives us the opportunity to feel free. So as of the recording of this podcast, our house is on the market, and every day we have a scramble where we take the dogs to daycare and clean the house. And it's by no means a mansion, but it's also not small. And so there's a lot to vacuum and a lot to get in order so that people can come see it. And
it's been really fun. I just love it. It's awesome.
Allie,
if you guys want to check it out, the address is...
No. I will say, and this is probably for a different podcast, unless you guys have specific questions about it now, but I've literally never processed this out loud, so it's going to be really raw. But it has felt in some ways really violating. And I have not enjoyed the process of having a house on the market at all, actually. It feels very invasive. Maybe that's a better word than violating, because I don't feel like I'm being wronged. But it feels very invasive, very vulnerable, very just like letting it all hang out. So I'm not having fun. Maybe there are people that have fun. I'm not one of them.
You guys, Mom, one of her favorite things in the world, maybe not her favorite thing.
Are you going to bring up the magic eraser?
Are you about to just like, what is the deal with you just reading my mail?
Mom said, I feel really violated. And Allie said, well, if you want to feel more violated, let me just air out everything.
That's exactly right.
Listen. I think one of Mom's like defense mechanisms with the house being on the market. Hold on.
She is calling you out.
She is.
Reading her, okay. She likes to take out a magic eraser and do a wall. And guys, once she starts, she can't stop. Because there's always more scuffs and there's always more things, which is fair.
But let me just say, as a PSA for the Mr. Clean magic eraser, I have never ever used a product that is that good at what it says it does.
Why? Why does it work?
It doesn't make sense.
It's sorcery. I'm sure it's poison. Like if I use it too
Oh
long,
yeah.
it starts eating off my gel nails. So
You're like,
I'm sure
surely
it's
it can't be
poison.
good, but
But
it
but that's
works.
just as Allie continues to skewer me, let me just say I'm not sorry about the magic eraser because it is that good.
Earlier today, we had two house showings earlier today. And as we were like getting ready to leave, we're like in our little hallway, like by the garage door, and mom looks at the wall and she looks at me and she goes, and I was like, and she was like, it just needs a magic eraser. And I said, you can get one, but here's the thing, you can't do the whole hallway on your way here. She was like, I won't, I swear. And she got the little scuff and we were all good. But
I
she
was
loves
on
the
the
magic
phone.
eraser.
She
I
has
was
to
on the
set
phone
boundaries.
like maybe 15 minutes before someone was going to come see the house one time, and Allie walked outside. I was talking to mom. Allie walked outside to like let the dogs out or something. I'm not really sure. And she comes back in. Mind you, I'm on the phone. I have no idea what's going on. She comes back in. She goes, Mom! Mom starts cackling. She's magic erasing the entire wall. After Allie
I
was
didn't
like,
even see
no,
her.
put
I
it
heard
down.
the magic eraser and I was like, Mother, I literally just told you to put it away. What are we doing?
Guys, again, the combination of perfectionism and liking everything to be just so and knowing that other people are coming and judging it's just not good. I'm not having fun. I'm not enjoying it. I will say, Jack, you are so glad that you do not live here in this season. You would be miserable with the flurry that we have to
Yeah.
suddenly go into.
And I
So
would feel
true.
violated as well.
Yes, it's not fun. I'm not having fun, but for now, it's on the market and we're trusting the Lord with his timing and with really the right person who needs to
Yeah.
come and have this house. And so this part of our transition, and kiddos, you can speak to this as much or as little as you want, but I haven't talked a lot about my mom because really just it gets more difficult. And the reason initially that the Lord gave us this house was because she was going to be moving in with us. And there's a basement apartment here, and she was able to live in that basement apartment for 4 years. And I've talked before about the really sweet provision of the Lord that was for my kids specifically to have such focused time with their grandmother. And they've gotten to have that with all of their grandparents. My dad's already with Jesus, and most of you know that my mom experienced sudden onset dementia a couple of years ago. And so that continues to progress. And so she doesn't live with us anymore because she's in a memory care facility. And so we don't need a house that has this much room in it now with no children living here, no one living in or renting the basement apartment. And so our prayer has been that another family who needs a home in Franklin that has this much space to meet people's needs would be able to get it. And God knows who that person is, and it only has to be one person. But I hope they come soon, and I hope that they like the attention to detail and the amount of magic erasing that has happened. And so hopefully by the time this airs, I'll be able to give that update. But that's what we're waiting on for now.
I hope they walk in and say, who magic erasered these walls? I want to talk to
Right,
them.
right, of course.
This is professional grade right here.
Yes. Literally right
That
before
good,
this
good.
podcast, Mom goes, I really want to either like magic eraser or paint like this whole wall. And I was like,
It's
was like,
it's not
of
even
course,
this little spot. It's the entire wall
the whole
every
wall.
time.
She was like,
Like
it's
it
so
cannot
bad. I was
be
like,
just like
period.
Nope, has to be the entire thing.
Well,
It's
so
fair.
kids,
I wish.
I'd love to hear specifically from you, Maggie and Jack, because you already don't live here. But when we talked to all three of you and said, hey, Dad and I are thinking that we're going to put the house on the market, y'all did not even hesitate. My brother and I had a significantly difficult conversation when we made the decision to sell our childhood home. But my parents had that home for 30 years. We have been here now almost 8. So just talk from each of your perspectives about what it feels like that should the Lord see fit to provide a buyer, it won't be here that you're coming home to. What feels great about that? What kind of makes you go, oh shoot? And why were you like, yes, absolutely, sell it? I'm going to have Jack go first because the girls have no problem talking on this podcast. But so Jack, why don't you go first?
Sure. I will say, if I hadn't already been planning to move to Chattanooga when you told us, it probably would have hit me a little bit harder, specifically just because I don't like to have my space uprooted, you know? It's why I wouldn't like people coming in to see my house. But since I had already known that I would be moving and had already done some, like, you know, I had moved stuff and packed stuff already a little bit at that point. It didn't hit me as much that you would be moving. As far as like not coming back to the childhood home, we've moved around a lot in our lives before. I don't remember the number anymore, but I think it's double digits amount of houses or
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've just moved around a lot before, so I'm pretty used to, you know, one day just hearing that we're moving, I guess.
So fair.
And so it was like, okay, you know, what do we need to do now? But there are a lot of really great memories in that house. Like my last dog, he only ever lived in that house, and he is with Jesus now. So that is really sad to think about, that all of my memories with him are in that house, and I'll probably, you know, except for this weekend, I don't know how many times I'm going to be back at that house, you know? So, that's a little tough, but, besides that, I'm already in a new spot, you know? So, I'm just sort of like, as much as I can help you guys move, just let me know.
Bless you. Thank you. All right, Allie Bally.
So I'll go really quickly. Okay, first of all, whenever mom and dad would bring up moving, I would always start crying. I don't know why. I barely cry, guys. Mom and dad would say, Maggie? No.
Barely is not the correct word. Okay,
Right, like,
she's not a crybaby, but barely is also not correct.
I don't cry as much as Maggie, okay?
You people that are not
Anyways.
watching the video of this podcast are missing out because there
You
is
guys.
plenty of drama to go around with this family. Go ahead,
was
Allie. We're not going to
crazy.
keep people here all
Anyways.
day. Let's go.
Anyways, so whenever mom and dad would bring up moving, I would start crying. And I never really knew why. I didn't like have words around it. I just would, and I was like, sorry guys. Clearly I don't want to move, I guess. And then this last time that they brought it up, I was like reaching the end of my senior year, and I was like, I think at this point, like, I didn't really know like what was happening, but I just knew that like change was already coming, so why not just change it all? Why not? So mom and dad were like, I think we're gonna sell the house, and I was like, okay. And they were like, wait, what's going on? What's going on? Why aren't you crying? And I was like, I don't actually feel bad about it this time. This is great. So I don't know. It felt like perfect timing to me. I definitely like, this is the longest place we've ever lived. And so like, there are definitely a lot of memories here. You know, I started living in this house when I was in 6th grade. And so going from 6th grade all the way to, you know, graduating was like that's a lot of memories. But also, like, our house in and of itself has changed a lot. Like, I moved from one room to another room because Maggie moved out, so I got the bigger room. And yeah, so I feel like we've already changed a lot in the house, and so now it's time to change the house, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. And I'm really excited about that. I don't like change, but I also like new things at the same
Mm-hmm.
time. So it's kind of like a tightrope. Like sometimes I'm like really shaky and other times I'm like just, gliding along. But yeah, I think it's a really exciting transition, but at the same time I've been a little bit like I feel like I don't feel as what did you call it? Not violated, but intruded,
Invasive. Yeah.
invaded. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't feel as invaded as I feel like you guys do. Um, but I will say at the same time, like anytime mom and dad are like, "We have a showing in 2 hours," I'm always like, "Okay, awesome." But it's also like the excitement of like maybe this is the person who's gonna buy the house, hopefully,
Yeah.
so that we don't have to keep doing this. But yeah, so it's a balance of being excited and also kind of just like everything's changing, so it's a little bit rocky at times. But yeah,
Okay. Mags.
I'll say I have a bit of a different perspective because I haven't lived there in almost 4 years, like coming up
Mm-hmm.
in 2 months, I think, in September. I will not have lived there for 4 years. So I have a bit of a different perspective because I haven't lived there as long, but I've been coming back to it every time I've come home. It's the same. Everything is the same. Nope, that's a total lie. The living room looks different every single time I come over. But
Go
but
ahead.
hey,
Go ahead. Allie's already done it. Tell the people why the living room looks different all the time. Tell them.
no, it's great. I love it. I'm gonna move on. I'm just kidding.
let me do
But
it.
No,
I'm just
it's
kidding.
I rearrange furniture
yes,
all the
constantly.
time.
You know who else
And
does?
if
Me.
something significant happens in my life with the furniture a certain way and I would like to move on from that thing, I rearrange the furniture as a way to kind of jumpstart that process.
Do you want to know what the first thing that I made Hannah do while she was here consoling me throughout my breakup? Change my entire bedroom because I was like, it can
There you
never look
go.
like this again, ever, never. I can't.
So
So we
anyway,
rearranged it.
we digress, but that's
So
why
I get
the
it,
living room's always
but
different.
it has been the same and it has been a constant to come back to every time, which has been nice. But I've never had like a childhood home that you go back to, like Jack was talking about. Like it's in double digits. It's we've moved so many times. We moved in like 72 hours one time. So
Yeah.
it's never been like, wait, what? We're moving? Oh my gosh, everybody hold on. Like this is gonna be crazy. So I was like, yeah, move. Go somewhere else. You guys have always wanted a ton
Yeah.
of land. So I was like, go get your house on a hill, away from everyone. Go get a ton of land. Do your thing. But I think I had already had almost 4 years to like kind of separate myself from that. But I will say, coming back this last time, and you guys pulled up a house you were looking at to move to, I was like, wait, this is actually real. That's crazy. Like, there's a very real possibility. Last Christmas was my last Christmas coming back to that house.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Hopefully it sells before that. So
Oh yeah.
it is an interesting balance of like, oh, like Jack was talking about specifically, there's so many memories there. I didn't even consider Ollie has only ever been in that house. Like, oh, that was a gut punch. But also, I think it's good to like start fresh, start anew,
Yeah.
especially like downsizing, being able to do what you want to do financially because you don't have this burden of a house that you're not using 75% of anymore. Like, I think that's great. I think it worked out really well that I had already moved out. Jack has already moved out. Allie's moving out anyway. It's not like any of us are like, wait, where are we going to live? You know?
Yeah.
So I do think it's a good transition and I think it's the right time. But it was interesting. I mean, this house is the closest I have to my childhood home that I come back to for holidays, you know? So it'll be interesting to come back for the first time and not go there and be like, wait,
Yeah.
what? Because it's
We'll
a very
just,
good chance that I won't be there for the transition piece, you know?
yeah, we'll pick you up from the airport and you just won't know where we're going. And
I'll be like, wait,
Be
it'll all
like,
be
this
an
is the wrong
adventure.
exit, guys. What are we doing?
this is not the right way.
Okay,
So
so
yeah.
last thing for Jack and Maggie. How has not living here influenced your faith journey?
I'll say for me, we talked a little bit about this on our, like, one of our first podcasts that we did together, where I was like, oh, like, this is mine. I have to own this. If I want to go to church, like, I have to go to church. Mom's not already going, and I'm not just like hopping in the car with her. Like, I have to make it a point to go. I have to try new churches because now I live in a fully different state and don't know where to go. So I have to try new churches and I have to try them by myself and all of that jazz, which is super exciting, but is all fully on me at this point. And so I think it has influenced my relationship with Jesus only in a positive way because I have to be intentional. And the thing that I like think about and sometimes cry about is like he's just like waiting for me to start talking to him. And like sometimes I don't. And he's like, I hope she talks to me, knowing full well I'm not going to. Like that stuff crushes me. But
Mm-hmm.
it's me, you know, that's all on me. I don't have the are you reading your Bible? Have you done your quiet time? Are you doing the because I just don't have that anymore, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
we talk a lot about the most recent sermon I listened to or whatever when you and I chat, Mom, but I don't have the someone's here and asking me if I've done it anymore. And so I have to do it for myself and only for me. And
Yeah.
so I think owning that has been super awesome. But not only that, like all my friends, I have to be the person who, like, I don't want to say witnesses to them, but I guess that's the right word. Like, it's not, oh, the Scott family who goes to whatever church and is always at church
Yeah.
every Sunday and Wednesday and Thursday and anytime the doors are open. Like, they don't know that part of me. So now I have
Yeah.
to show them that part, you know? So I think it's been positive, but it was an interesting transition. I was like, oh, I got to do this for myself now. It's not just
Yeah.
going to happen. So,
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like everybody in life who grew up with Christianity or maybe even other religions has that moment where it's sort of like, oh, my faith has to be my own now. Um, I think everybody sort of goes through that, and I did for sure. Although I would say probably to a lesser degree because I've been working on my personal relationship with God for a long time. I've been through a lot of different seasons of loneliness, and so
Mm-hmm.
having Him always be there is sort of what uh, anchored me, I suppose, in those seasons. Um, and so I've been working on my personal relationship with Him for many years, so that didn't feel as much like a extreme change, but I would say definitely, as far as the church goes, I almost still need to be more intentional about going because it's not
Mm-hmm.
like everybody's just gone on Sunday morning. I have one friend who goes to church regularly and he's on the opposite corner of the house. So I'll wake up at
Mm-hmm.
11:30 on a Sunday and everybody's still asleep, which is a far cry from 7:30 a.m. mornings that I'm used to. Um,
Yeah.
and so nobody's going to force me to go to church in the morning or knock on my door and ask me if I've gotten dressed yet for service. And it's something that I'm still having to sort of figure out what church I even want to go to,
Yeah.
what church, because I have a lot of personal issues, I suppose, with the church and the building, and sometimes the people in them,
Yeah.
in all different places. Um, so that's been difficult for me to kind of um, work through and process. And I've visited two different churches here, and I want to go to the one that our cousins go to and try that one
Yeah.
out. Um, because I still have this sort of church distrust from many, many, many years. Um, but I have seen my personal relationship with Jesus still stay strong through the move and through the change of environment, which has
Yeah.
been just really reassuring uh, that I
And I
know
just
he
want
is
to
still
say,
here.
yeah, church distrust is a real thing, and it's actually a real thing for a lot of people. And you guys have seen behind the curtain your whole lives because of what your parents do. And um, what we have tried to tell you over and over again is that Jesus is so much more than the sum total of the misbehavior of his followers. And we all misbehave and we all treat each other, unfortunately. And there are churches, and I don't mean the building, I mean the gathering of people. There are churches that are really striving to honor God in the way that they do life and community and worship and corporate worship. And so it's a worthy thing to be searching for. And so I'm really glad that you guys have not all gone, okay, well, now that we're out from under mom and dad and we don't have to do the God thing, we're not doing it anymore. And it has to be something that you own for yourself. It is not something that we can own for you. And I had the exact same experience when I left my parents' house. And so I'm just grateful that you're continuing to cultivate those relationships and continuing to go, where's a place I can go and get involved? And the good news is you most likely won't see behind the curtain, at least for quite some time at those places. And it's okay to have those seasons too, where you don't know every single solitary little thing about the function of the organization. And you can just be, and you can enjoy, and you can worship God and not have to carry that weight. So thank you guys for being willing to share everything that you've shared. I know it's a whole thing to get on and talk for an hour with the whole world listening in. I said the whole world like there's millions of people listening. That is so
Millions,
far
you
from
guys.
accurate. It is
Millions.
hilarious.
We just got the
That
latest
is-
number in. It starts with an M. Okay.
Millions. Not true. By this time, I don't know that even 3 people are still listening. But thank you guys for sharing and just having an organic conversation where I just said, hey, let's all get on the podcast and talk, because we got a lot of change in our lives right now. And it doesn't have to be bad. But, Pastor Darren said all the time, people don't grieve change, they grieve loss. And I know that there are some things that we're all losing in this season, and that there's probably some grief with that. But then there is also so much that I know that we will gain, because God's a good, good Father, and we will trust him for what he's bringing, whatever that may be, for all of us. So whether that's Orlando with your boss, the mouse, or Chattanooga, or across the pond at Soul Church in England, the Scott family trusts God, and we follow him wherever he leads. So thank you, Maggie, Jack, and Allie, for being on the Everything Made Beautiful podcast. and for occasionally throwing me under the bus, because we never want to be that family that acts like we have it all together and all is well and we don't have any issues. Not true. But thank you guys for being willing to share today, truly.
Of course, our joy. And shout out to Jack, first time on the pod.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Many more to
It's always a
come. He
pleasure.
told me himself.
Ooh, I don't know. Maybe a few.
He'll probably text me and say, let's not make that a regular habit, Mama. But thank you for doing it, Jack.
Of course. Thank you for having me. I'm always happy to talk to my family.
All right, guys. Well, be on the lookout always, every day, for the ways that God is making everything beautiful, including you. And we will see you next time.
Thank you for joining us for Everything Made Beautiful. We're grateful for your willingness to tune in. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share today's episode. For more from Shannon, including articles, resources, and upcoming events, visit shannonsuzannescott.com. We'll see you next time.